70mai's brand new dash cam is the world's first that can record here in 4K, but also here in 4K. Blurry pixelated images has always been a problem for rear-facing cameras. That's due to 1080p quality and poor image sensors. But the T800 solves that issue. Did I tell you? It also records here as well in 1080p, all while recording all three at the exact same time. I'm really not here to pitch this to you though. We're gonna find out if this is good or bad tech. Welcome to the most honest tech channel on YouTube, where I aim to bring you unfiltered, completely raw, honest reviews of the random tech products companies send me, so you can spend your hard-earned money on stuff that really works. So really, I don't know what you're waiting for. Hit the subscribe button right down below so you can be notified every time there's a new review. Let's get into some quick specs before we get into the raw footage. The T800 is unique because both the front-facing and the rear-view camera is equipped with the Sony starvis 2 IMX678 image sensor. And this delivers a super clear 4K image. We're gonna get into how good in a little bit. The interior camera, like you can see here, is also a 1080p image and offers really clear video. And these record at the exact same time. In fact, at any point, I can pull up the app and pick which camera I want to access and easily select the video footage for that and download it directly to my phone. This gives you a near 360-degree protection the whole time you're driving. And if you get the 4G compatibility kit, you can even have parking protection and access the footage at any point from your phone. The only downside is I live in Canada and we don't have that feature, so the kit's kind of useless. Let's talk install, because even if you're the least techie person watching this video, you'll be able to complete this in under an hour. So before we even install the new dash cam, I gotta remove my old one, and I wanna show you how much I love these electromagnetic templates that you can't really see because they don't leave a mark. So I can actually just do this. Everything comes off, and look at that. Super clean surface there. I love how easy these are to remove, and they don't ruin your windshield. Now, getting to the install process, I got everything here. A few things I love is they give you a 512 gigabyte SD card with this one. Massive for the 3-channel. You have the rear view camera. And something that's new with this one is instead of running a long cord, it had this weird connector before. So it's now USB-C, and that can be seen as a good or a bad thing. A little annoying because this meant I had to tear out the old cord, and now I got to run a new USB-C one. Not a big deal. We have the long USB-C, and then we have the shorter one. I already have one from the other ones, so I'll just have to install the super long one. You got your DC adapter right here. And this is the massive 3-channel unit. Now, we already looked at the 1 channel, which is the back camera. This is the brand new rotatable inside camera, which will be always facing inside. And then they have this new exterior outside one, which can be moved up and down in a fixed position. And then of course, this nice size screen and a bunch of buttons here, which I'm not sure what they do yet, and a little micro SD slot. So let's start installing it. First thing I like to do is make sure the surface is clean and dry. So give it a wipe and grab some paper towel. Now they do give you 2 of the electromagnetic stickers. These are super easy to put on. Just make sure you look at the instructions. So all you gotta do is peel it and then stick it on an optimal location like that. Give it a little rub after to make sure all the little air bubbles are out. Try to get it as centered as possible. Now take your main unit, take off the 3M cover and give it a peel. And now all we gotta do is find that little box there and try to place it on just like this. Now I'm gonna take this 512 gigabyte SD card. It's the biggest size I've ever seen come with a dash cam. And now they have the little slot right here, and just give it a little push. It'll snap into place, and you got that loaded. The 1 cord plugged into power. I just plugged it in, and you can see we're getting that English screen right there. I ran the wire all the way through here, through the top, through the side. It goes all the way to my car's USB port right here. Now I still have to run another USB-C cable, but for now let's complete the setup. So we want English. I'm gonna go ahead and press that there. Press yes. And now we just have to get the app downloaded to finish the rest of the setup. And we'll format our SD card. Okay, so I'm just about to install the rear view camera. I have the static strip right here. And I went and ran the wires through my car. I'm gonna show you my biggest problem so far with this camera in a second, but let me first show you how to install the rear view part. It goes just like this, and I try to put it a little bit down, mostly in the middle. And just as before, we wanna make sure we give it a little rub here. We got our camera right there, and we'll check the camera in a second to make sure it's all good. So we can see cord nice and tight up there, pretty much hidden except for that one strand. So when we close it, there'll be a little bit of excess left over. I actually don't know how to avoid that, but that's what we're working with there. Now here's my biggest issue, is you're gonna notice this cord is a thick boy. Like, look at how thick of wiring USB-C they chose. And there's really no need for that. And what that has caused is when I stuff the cord through, you can see it's like maxing out my trim's capability to actually keep this cord in. And that leads it to almost damaging my stuff, right? Like you can see my stuff here is like popping out. There's an airbag there. That's probably not good to have that there. I don't know why they use such a thick cord. 70mai, definitely use thinner USB-C cords. That is way too ridiculously too thick. That should not be a thing. And it makes it a lot harder for people to run it throughout their car and make it look good. So don't do that. So just to show you guys, we now have all 3 cameras set up, and just by pressing this button, you can see we can toggle through all 3 different views pretty easily. And that's just a really simple system with the double screen showing up. Now I want to see if I can take these off if I choose as well. So we're going to take off for our first drive. Now it is super bright outside right now, and we're gonna hit the highway. Now, thanks to the Sony starvis 2 sensor, they say 90% better with low light sensitivity and 100% better low light performance. I'm not sure what that's comparing it to, maybe the first image sensor, but that is both in the front and the back camera. So you should get the same quality in both. But from here on out, all the video and audio is gonna be off of these cameras. Let's head out. Seatbelt's important. So one thing you're gonna notice with the 4K quality is that even license plates that are farther away and driving away, it's gonna be way easier to read those after, especially if you have to zoom in and kind of crop the image to get that license plate number or whatever, if somebody tries to hit and run on you. So something else that's included with this camera is their My Color Vivid Plus, which is supposed to help fix the exposure and just further enhance the image. It's their own technology that's added into the camera. So we're just getting on the highway now. You'll be able to check out a little bit more of that vivid color that we should get off this. So we're back. We're gonna download this footage, take it inside, and see how the front, the cabin, and the rear video footage compare to each other. Okay, so how this is gonna work is we're going to first look at all the footage by itself. So the front, the rear, and the cabin. And then we're gonna do a comparison of both the front and the rear at the same time. Now, just a small caveat I wanna put on screen here. This footage is processed at 1080p instead of the 4K quality that I originally pulled it out of. This is because 4K files are huge, so for me to put that in the video, it's just a little bit too much. So for you yourself, the video quality will look quite a bit clearer. Let's start with this first clip here, which is of the front view. So this is just me kind of driving straight past some apartments, and I have a little bit of glare from my dash, but that's not a big deal. But most importantly, what you can see is how vivid the colors are, even on a super cloudy day. And this is of course equipped with HDR as well. And yeah, that looks pretty good to me. So here's our rear view camera look. And one thing I want to point out is it looks a little almost like darker in a way, like shaded. And the reason I believe for that is because the back window's tinted. So it doesn't look quite as vibrant, but still the clarity, no doubt, 4K, it looks great. And you also get that pretty wide field of view where you're getting way more than just the road. So here we can see this car kind of pulling up to me right here. And look at how clear this is. Like, I bet we can almost see the person inside. Now let's take a look at inside the cabin. Now this has obviously no tint, no glare, because you're not dealing with the windows or, you know, potentially any mess. And although this is only 1080p, it's still HDR. And obviously if you're a taxi driver, Uber, or you just like to be able to record yourself inside for funny moments, I mean, super clear, obviously. Very vivid colored, and the audio sounds pretty good as well. I get a little bit from the air conditioning, but that's not a big deal to me. Okay, so what I have here now is 2 similar clips. We have one of the front view and one of the rear view of the highway. And this is where you can see that tint. I believe it's the tint that's really playing a role here, with not quite as vivid color, but still the clarity is just as good, which is important. So let's play these for a sec. And obviously license plates are super visible. Some places do have front license plates. Where I live, they don't, so that doesn't matter as much. But you still get the same clarity. Again, you're just getting that little bit of masking, I believe, from the window tint. So obviously that does play a bit of role in just filtering the vivid color. Like look at the sky, just like a lighter shade of blue almost. Overall though, that HDR really helps, and it is just super high quality video. There's no other way to look at it. So I actually already recorded the nighttime footage. I'm just getting back. I was supposed to do this part before, but I forgot. And essentially what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you from sunset all the way to pitch dark with my headlights off, how well this thing handles super low light. And this does also have their night owl technology, which should help improve that on top of the Sony starvis 2 image sensor. So let's check it out, but we got one stop to make first. Can I get a spicy, crispy chicken wrap and you guys have? So it's just starting to get pretty dark out now. We're gonna hit the highway where there's not as many lights, so we can get it as dark as possible to see just how well the low light holds up. And also, important enough, this camera facing inside, the cabin camera, also how those IR lights, you know, create a nice vivid picture even when it's like pitch dark inside here. Nighttime, we're gonna do basically the same thing, but we're also gonna check out with headlights on and off in pretty much pitch dark lighting, which is pretty important because this is supposed to look still pretty decent with low light, although you're gonna lose obviously a lot of color. There's no light there. So let's start by checking out the front. And we're gonna first look at almost pitch dark with the headlights just on. So let's take a look at this video right here. Now you still have a lot of clarity here, but of course with that low light, overall the quality is not gonna be as good. You have those oncoming headlights, but with your headlights on, everything is still super clear with this. And this is almost pitch dark. So I know that sky looks decently bright still. It did not look like that when I was driving. So it does kind of adjust it in a way where you can actually still kind of make out the video. Next, I want to show you this footage here where I go down a back road. Again, this is pretty much pitch dark out, and then I turn my headlights off so you can see a bit of the contrast between the two. So let's play this video. Headlights are on right now, and then wait for it, and headlights are off. So you can see that immediate shift. Now that is going to lose a lot of quality, right? This does not look 4K anymore when you turn your headlights off. So that amount of darkness, I can still see something. So like if somebody ran up, or you know, if a car's in front, you might still be able to make out the license plates, but without any lighting at all, obviously. So keep your headlights on, that makes a difference. Now, one cool part about inside the cabin is they have built-in IR lights, which really basically give you pretty good video even when you're pitch dark inside there. So if you have people in the back seat, you don't have to worry about having any lighting at all. You're still gonna be able to make out their face. So check this out right here of me driving. I'm just kind of relaxing, I'm jamming to music here. And obviously, even people in the back, you'd be able to make out like facial structure, what they look like, what they're doing, and all of that. It's honestly pretty impressive video. And then for our rear view camera right here, this is what it looks like in pretty much pitch dark. We had a little raindrop there fall over the windshield, but you can see cars driving that way. The lighting's almost all gone. And yeah, obviously the back, because you don't have those headlights, you're using a lot of clarity. And this is gonna make it more difficult to make out, you know, license plates and stuff like that. But I think if they're close enough, you're still gonna be able to see them. However, you do get a lot of glare from those headlights in these situations. So it's definitely not ideal, but still pretty good for almost pitch dark. Okay, so here we have our front and our rear camera with pretty much the exact same lighting. And this is where you're gonna be able to see quite a bit of contrast between the two. Even at night, you're still getting clear enough video where you're able to make things out, and stuff like license plates, you know, people coming up to your vehicle, vehicles coming by. If you're in a city, this is gonna look even clearer because you have all the lights around you, but I thought the highway footage would be probably the best way to show you what the video really looks like in those low light conditions. Now, there's a few other features this camera offers that previous models have had as well that I want to go over really briefly. And one of that's the 4G and parking protection capabilities. Now, it's important to note, these are only available if you either have the 4G kit or the hardwire kit directly connected to your vehicle. For me, I only have the USB connection, and on top of that, I live in Canada, so the 4G is completely useless to me. For the 4G, you're gonna be able to access video whenever you want directly from your phone. You're also gonna be able to monitor your car's battery voltage to see how it's doing. It has built-in AI features, which allows it to detect if somebody's coming up to your vehicle, or if, you know, there's a lot of motion on your vehicle, it will automatically start recording. And this also includes GPS tracking, so if your car does get stolen, it gives you an extra area of protection. Now, even without without those kits, you still get one thing, and that's even though my camera is not hardwired in, it still actually does detect some motion at night. So when I look through my recordings the next day, you can see it turned on a bunch of times between 2 to 1 a.m. But the part that kind of confuses me here is these all seem to be false negatives, and I actually don't know what's triggering it, whether it's just, a tree moving a little bit too much, or maybe there was an animal, but I literally can't see anything on the recordings. But it still did record a ton of footage. Now, one great feature with 70mai's cameras is the emergency recording, and you can activate this either with your voice, or it will also activate if it feels you swerve too much, or if it feels a big impact. And it basically creates a buffer where it will take footage briefly before the incident, I think it's around 10 seconds, and then it will record after that as well. Basically, so you get the before and after of what happened. And you can actually activate this with voice commands. So I'm gonna put this in the video because it's gonna show the before as well, but I can say, record video. And right now it's actually taking an emergency recording video. I can see it right on the front dash. And this is going to save in a separate emergency folder, so it's really easy for you to find. Commands. So I'm gonna put this in the video because it's gonna show the before as well, but I can say record video. And right now it's actually taking an emergency recording video. I can see it right on the front dash. And this is going to save in a separate emergency folder, so it's really easy for you to find. And there's a few other voice commands such as take photo or record audio. There we go, we can see it doing it right there. Obviously not as much as you get with the Omni 4K, where you can also get it to move to the left or the right, but still a pretty cool feature. One thing I have noticed is when I first go in my vehicle and I turn it on, and the camera starts its boot up process, you're gonna see it says memory card loading. So during this period, it's not actually taking any video. So this can obviously lead to an issue, because if you get in your vehicle and your memory card's loading, you back up and somebody hits you, well, that sucks. So what I wanna do is get out of my vehicle, have the camera turn off. We're gonna come in, start counting to 30, start backing up, and see when this recording finally starts. And we'll see what number I'm at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, let's see where that ended off. Okay, so I'm just watching this footage right here, and I'm gonna put it up on screen. And as you can see, it actually started at 13, 14, 15, 16. So I lost around 13 seconds just with the camera booting up from being off for a while. So you do have to realize there's a little bit of a buffer period there when you're first starting up your camera. So just recognize that just in case you might accidentally back into something or somebody cuts you off really weird. In most cases, I don't see this as any problem whatsoever. Now let's talk about whether this is good or bad tech, because there is a lot to like here. Unlike the Omni 4K, where you're getting one camera in the front and one in the back, with the front one of course being that rotatable 4K option, this is just a set of 3 cameras that record all the time with, by the way, a 512 gigabyte memory card, which is going to give you a ton of storage for those 4K recordings. It's easy to use, it's easy to access, and simple to set up, besides that super thick USB-C cord, which I had a bit of an issue with. And as for price, this is gonna come in at about $400 US, which definitely makes it a premium option. With the Omni 4K being around $329, obviously constantly being on sale, this is gonna cost you a little bit more, but it's going to deliver awesome video and awesome protection all the time. And also on its release, it's only going to be $340, and they've given me an additional 5% coupon down below if you guys want to check it out. Now, is this good or bad tech? This is good tech. This is a 9.0 out of 10. It is by far the best dash cam I have reviewed yet. Obviously, I wish nighttime footage just looked better, but when you get those low light conditions, it can only look so clear. That technology though will continue to get better, and I look forward to reviewing more of their dash cams in the future. So thank you guys for checking out this video. Next week, we're gonna be taking a look at Asu's doorbell camera that comes with a bunch of facial recognition features and a ton more. So make sure you subscribe to stick around for that. See you guys later.